Well, Jim, we've been trying for months to get this episode queued up, and it took an event like yesterday to bring you back to Dan time. I'm just so excited for you. I'm so happy for you. You've joined me. As far as I know, there's nobody in our close circle here that's come forward as someone who has put money on the Derby winner and has cashed out in recent years.
That's right. That's right.
So me, of course, not the world doesn't know about this, but with Mage in 2023. And yesterday, Jim, you placed a wager through a proxy. Is this correct? Through our good friend Trey and his wife?
Mm-hmm. Yep, his wife, Jen, was up at the Derby, and she asked me last week when we were talking if I knew anything about horse racing, and I said, no, I do not. But is it okay to shout out other podcasts on Dan Time?
Absolutely.
Because, okay, well, pardon my take. They're a pretty small podcast. I think you're probably up there close to them. You know, they probably have several million weekly listeners. They're the biggest sports podcast in the world. They have a guy on whose name is Randy Moss, and it's not the former Vikings wide receiver. He's just a horse racing expert every year before the Kentucky Derby, and he gives some picks out. And so he gave several picks, but his long shot was Golden Tempo. And so Jen had asked me that. I sent her all the other winners and things he said in a text, and I told her yesterday, or asked, hey, if I Venmo you $50, will you put it on for me while you're up there at the Derby? She was at the Derby with a friend, and she said yes. So I Venmoed her $50, and she put it on Golden Tempo, and the rest is history. Golden Tempo to win. People listening that may not know, Golden Tempo won. I've just said that now 3 times. So yeah, that's the gist of it. And so yeah, I was thrilled. I was watching, playing poker with some friends with the sound off. So, and we turned the TV on after the race had started, or we turned the channel on after the race had started. So I didn't see any of the build-up. I didn't know where Golden Tempo was posted. I didn't see her come out of the gate. Was it he or her, the horse, a filly or a mare?
It's a 3-year-old Bay American thoroughbred racehorse. I believe it's male.
Okay, so
yeah,
I
it
didn't
is.
see where
He's a son of Curlin and
who could forget
Carumba.
Curlin? Well, and I think if I'm remembering right, he may have won the Louisiana Derby. I may be misremembering. That's what the guy said. So that was kind of why Randy Moss liked him as a long shot, because he had ran so well in the Louisiana Derby. But anyway, so yeah, I turned on the TV. I'm watching with the sound off,
Finished
and they have your. Yeah. Oh, sorry. So,
third place finish, Louisiana Derby at Fairgrounds. Had 3 races at the Fairgrounds. Another third place finish in February. A couple first place finishes end of last year and in January this year. LeCompte Stakes. But yeah.
Well, I may be misremembering. Yeah, everybody go listen. This is the most recent episode of Pardon My Take. Y'all can hear what he said. Maybe he said, yeah, that third place finish was impressive because of how he ran down the backstretch. I think it's something like that. He likes Golden Tempo because of how he had been running on the backstretch on the past couple of races. You know, Kentucky Derby's longer down the backstretch, and gives horses that can hit that tend to do better. But yeah, I was watching with the sound off. Didn't know where he was. You know, before they get to the backstretch, they kind of have all their names listed on the screen of where they're running. You know, and they'll move them all around like the top 10. Golden Tempo wasn't even in the top 10.
Yep.
So I was like, dang it. And then they take all the names completely off, I guess, for the backstretch, just because it's so hard to juggle them all around. And they want full screen with the horses at the finish line. So I kind of just threw my hands up and wasn't really paying attention. And then, saw the name flash across the screen. It's the winner. And I just, oh my gosh, ecstatic. So yeah, it was 20. He paid 23 to 1. So it was a good night for me.
Just incredible, Jim. I really love your spirit, your risk-taking spirit, and I've known it for 20 years now. And I'll do the same thing. I'll throw $20. I don't try not to light $20 or $50 on fire, but with the Derby, it's kind of fun. I think you figure look, if I'm not betting on this stuff all year round, like some people do, for the thrill, for what you might spend, I mean, that's about not even 5 Burger King combos or whatever garbage prices you're paying for garbage food these days in 2026. That's like 3 lunches when you're out in the field, as they call it. We're both in sales, running through a drive-through real quick for garbage food, spending $13.96 or $17 at Jimmy John's. So what the hell? I'll spend $50 on the thrill of maybe winning. But I'm just so ecstatic that that came to be for you.
Yeah, me too. It was like I said, I was playing poker when it happened. So I do not have a gambling problem. I just like to gamble. I guess this is the famous last word. This is the famous last words of a problem gambler. But no, I played poker one time a week, and
how many White Claws were you when this was happening, or whatever you're pounding these days?
I maybe had a couple vodka sodas, so I was thrilled. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to think if it was a problem, my wife would get onto me. But I echo everything you said, man. I just love having a little bit of skin in the game. And I don't, if I was betting every single night on baseball or basketball, that could be a problem. But I mean, people spend your money however you want. I mean, $50 is right about now. It's almost 10 gallons of gas. I mean, and like you said, 2 or 3 combo meals at a fancier place.
Yeah, I mean, you could
for the chance to win 23 times that made it really fun for me.
You could keep wearing that same pair of pants, or you could go spend $50 on a new pair of pants, or you could spend $50 on the Kentucky Derby.
Exactly.
Well,
how much did you? I don't remember you telling me about Mage. What were the odds on that horse?
Mage was an 18-1.
Oh,
and that was a gut feeling. I kind of do something different every year. I watch it every year. And that particular time, which 3 years ago, I was just looking down the list of names. I don't think I had a lot of time to prepare for it or make a decision. And I thought, I'm going to pick the least appealing, colorful, flavorful name in this field. In Mage, I was just like, well, I don't even know what that means. It's just one syllable. It doesn't really dance off the paper. And then I looked at the odds, and I didn't want to go for 30-1. Didn't even really want to go for 25-1. I thought, okay, 18-1. And I probably did some just very, very light research and probably found someone to just corroborate my random thoughts. I found somebody online that said, oh, yeah, watch out for Mage. Because you can find that on any horse. So I just went for it, and I watched the race by myself, jumped up on my feet, throwing the arms in the air, just going crazy. Nobody saw it. Anyway, yesterday I put 50 on 6-speed to win because of the jockey. The jockey, of course, Brian Hernandez Jr., rode Mystic Dan to victory 2 years ago in the 150th run for the Roses. Brian Hernandez appeared on the podcast. Lance Gasaway, one of the owners, appeared on the show. So I just felt I got to support this guy, and I think he's got a good chance.
Yeah.
And then I always like to do a trifecta box. I don't throw a lot at it, but I did one place show on, because there had to be one, Jim. There had to be one Dan-type name in the field. This was after I threw my support behind 6-speed. Because I just looked to see, if Brian Hernandez was one of his horses was in my stable on Twin Spires. And then after the fact, I saw, Danon Bourbon. Danon. And remember, when Mystic Dan won, I did not bet on Mystic Dan.
I mean, what are you doing?
I think you and I talked about that on this show, that I thought I was going to jinx it. So I went for something completely opposite. I've kind of wiped from my memory who I bet on, but check this out, Jim. I don't want to take the spotlight away from you, but my trifecta box, I had 6-speed, Danone bourbon, and So Happy. If you go back and watch the replay, that's the trifecta box for half the damn race, like right out the gate. And that's the last thing you want to see. Like Brian Hernandez, he's in the lead. 6-speed is in the lead for the first half mile, and I'm just seeing it. I'm seeing him at number 1, and those 3 horses in the box, 1, 2, and 3, and I'm thinking, why the hell is this happening? Because this will not hold. And I was just waiting for it to just get broken up, and it took about it's only 2 minutes, what the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. It took an agonizing 30 or 40 seconds for. Yeah, I hated to see that. I mean, it was kind of fun. It was nice for a second to just imagine, well, what if this holds? But it was so stressful.
Oh, sure.
Because that final stretch, it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
But as soon as I was getting over, because I did a play show bet on Danone bourbon, almost hit that. I almost hit everything. My trifecta box and my winner. I hit none of it. And as soon as I reported that to you, you and Travis and Lowell, then you came through with the picture. And I'm somebody that I will quickly root for the next person if I've faded. So I was just so thrilled for you.
Well, I sure appreciate it, Dan. I was ecstatic too. That's probably the 2 biggest wins of my life were that last night, and then the time I did Survivor football. There was like a $25 buy-in, but it had like hundreds of people in it. Mm-hmm. And the first week, like 80% of the league, like almost over 150 people or so chose teams that lost. So there's only 50 of us left after week 2, and then something like that similar happened after week 2 and 3. And so literally, like week 4 of the NFL season, there were 4 of us left, and we all talked through text and split the pot 4 ways. So that was my only other big win. I'm not here to say that I'm overly lucky or that people listening who don't gamble, I don't want anybody to think it's easier that you win a lot. That's the whole point, is that you don't. The house always wins. But man, when you do win, it's exhilarating, and you feel so smart. Even though it wasn't my pick, I would have had no idea if that guy hadn't recommended him on that podcast.
Now, I immediately thought, and for people who are not familiar with Birmingham, don't know the connection here, but I thought there might be some connection with Golden Temple. I guess they're still in business down there.
Oh yeah, the health food store. Yeah.
Golden Tempo.
Yeah. I'm just a huge fan of holistic food stores and organic things. So I was like, got to go with Golden Temple.
Now I did see this was pretty groundbreaking here. The first female trainer to win the Kentucky Derby, Cherie DeVoe, the trainer for Golden Tempo. What
first
a moment
female,
there,
right?
Yeah, and I actually watched her in the pre-race interview. I should know the journalist's name who rides alongside the jockeys or walks with the trainers. If you were watching on Peacock yesterday, and she's interviewing everybody. Mm-hmm. And Cherie was just overly complimentary of her, and the reporter said, "Look, we're not going to make this about me," but I think that was her. And then if you see the replay also of the finish, and the trainer's just trying to catch her breath. She is just overcome with emotion. I was just really happy. Really happy to see somebody like that, who I was doing a little bit of research on. And it's hard not to root for her. She's 44.
First female, right?
Jim, you're not going to believe this. My wife is beeping in. We're doing this by phone.
You better get that. Talking about women, you better get that.
Well, now she just dropped off. I was about to get her on the podcast for the first time ever.
Get her thoughts.
She's probably about to say, "Hey, don't forget to go by and pick up my prescription, or we need to get some more whole milk or 2% or laundry beads, the scent beads." And I'm not going to spin off and talk about all this stuff. Yeah. I've talked about it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, this is thrilling. Scent beads. Give us your top 3 thoughts on scent beads.
But real quick, Ocelli, a 70 to 1. Finished third. How about a show bet there on Ocelli? There's probably a lot of people that went for it, that put $5 on there.
1.
Some people, Jim, and what do you think of the people that just throw $2 at it for fun? $5. It's not rich enough for me, but I'm all right with that.
No, I mean, if you want to do that with a group or something, and if it turns out, but yeah, $2, like we said, $50 is a lot of money. Man, I was thinking about our old poker games after work at the Mel Mushroom where we would play for $5.
Oh yeah, the last game of the
tournament. Night. No, we would play for $5 we would play for 20 most times.
We would kind of step down.
Is what we would play for. Yeah.
We'd go like 20, then 10. Everybody would be pretty much broke.
Yeah.
We tried to do that fourth game at 3 a.m.
Yeah, for $5
with Dan Dollars and Brad Bucks.
Dan Dollars and Brad Bucks. Jim's.
Yeah. Wrapping up
just
here.
Thinking yeah.
Oh no, yeah, Jim's. Nate Notes. We had one for everybody except Dave, because Dave never needed cash. He was never.
Yeah, he was a bartender. He made more money than all. He made more money than the managers did.
Folks listening, we just imagine it's 2005, and a group of guys, just broke dudes who are either going to school, not going to school, working in a restaurant, trying to rub 2 nickels together or have enough money to pay the gas bill or something at their apartment, playing poker with money they really don't have, and then running out of money if you don't win one of those games.
Yeah.
And we create these little IOUs. It's going to be hard to find something like that, but I think I've got a box somewhere.
This is also listening service or music services. So there was no Spotify. You couldn't, some people had 5-disc CD trays, but, it still was a pain. Nobody wants to get up and swap out the 5 CDs. And if it did swap between songs on CDs, you'd have like 15 seconds where it would have to pick up, move the CD. So you couldn't shuffle. So Dave made literally like a playlist on his computer.
Yeah.
That had, I think, tops 30 songs. It was a Tenacious D album. Richard Cheese, who did
the Electric
popular
Six
songs in this. Yeah, but Richard Cheese, remember, he did popular songs in the style of like lounge singers. So he did like Rage Against the Machine, but as a like a lounge singer, like Bulls on Parade, and like big. So that album and Tenacious D and maybe Electric Six
and Modest
was
Mouse.
The soundtrack. Modest Mouse, yes. Yeah. So that was the soundtrack of our poker games for a solid half a year or a year or so. So I don't think there's many people in the world who know the Tenacious D self-titled album better than we do. I mean, we could probably sing that with our backwards and forwards.
Yeah, and we're sitting around that table. There was one, another anecdote was we made axe throwing cool before it was, like decades before this was a mainstream thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
We'd go outside between games and literally like throw an axe at a tree.
Yeah. Or the dining room table that we played at, there was a big window just to the right of it where you could stand in the driveway and smoke and drink your beer. So if you got eliminated, you were out of the game, you could then go, we called it watching on TV. We would walk through the window and watch the other people that are still playing through the window. And it was exciting because you were out, but you were still kind of paying attention. You were kind of like, oh, what's happening? So anyways, yeah, you don't want to go. I'm sure podcasts are being turned off all over because they don't want to hear me talk about one janky poker game from 20
one last
years ago,
thing.
but.
Yeah, any beer that you brought over to Dave's house, if you brought a 6-pack and you drank 4 of them, don't leave 2 in that fridge drawer because
they gone.
Beer left,
beer mine
is beer mine, was Dave's policy, and it's hard. I mean, hard to argue with it. If those 2 natty lights or Milwaukee's best or something were that important to you, which I'm not going to name drop anybody, but it was important enough to somebody.
That was PBR that where he had to
Try to make arrangements, several attempts
porch table. Yeah.
Like, was
Come
it
by
like
and pick up 3 PBRs.
there was 3 PBRs still hanging on the
Rings,
ring.
That Dave had to leave, and this person called Dave and said, "Hey, can I come by and get those?" And Dave said, "I'm going to work." And he said, "Well, will you leave them on your table outside?"
And look, 2005 or 6, a 6-pack of PBR was what, $3.99?
Yeah,
something like that. I know that's hard to imagine coming away with a 6-pack of beer for $4, but
yeah,
that was the world we lived in.
was.
So we weren't spending $50 on a Kentucky Derby long shot.
Mm-mm.
My brother Robert, he bet on Incredibolt, finished 6th.
Oh,
Denon Bourbon, previously mentioned, finished 5th. The top 3 was Golden Tempo, then Renegade, the early favorite, and Ocelli.
mm-hmm.
My Horse 6-Speed faded to 13th. Pavlovian finishing last in 18th. Well, here's a quick recap. And folks, go back and watch. This stuff is, I think, instantly on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
But Longshot 6-Speed led the field for the first half mile, faded after leading into the far turn and finished 13th, while Golden Tempo won from last place. Just beautiful, Jim. And when you get one of these, you never forget about it, and you don't always have to brag about it, but you can, and you always can. I'll never forget Mage. And I'll also never forget my mistake with Mystic Dan, which kind of overshadows that Mage win.
I mean, what are you doing? I'll forever... I'm sorry about that. That just seems... If there's ever a Taylor... You have a podcast about where you mainly speak to people named Dan. You know, you love... Yeah. And the horse in the biggest race of every year has the name Dan, and you didn't bet it. I just... that's hard to conceive. But what are you going to do? Hey, you won with Mage, so you made up for it.
That's right. Well, another little fun fact, I guess. I'm glad nobody got hurt, but you may not have seen this, Jim. Great White, the horse that was a late scratch, right there at just before the horses were loading in, or some of them were already loaded into the starting gate, and Gray gelding Great White threw his jockey, Alex Ackard, if I'm pronouncing that right, after rearing up and falling backwards right before the start of the race, and then was scratched as a safety precaution. Can only imagine the disappointment.
Yeah, to make it that far.
Jockey and trainer and owner. 1,300-pound horse, one of the largest in the field.
That's tough.
There's some big animals.
Yeah, they are. You ever been horseback riding?
Once. At least once.
Yeah.
But a long time ago.
Were you with your your mom and dad and brothers, or with your family?
Yeah, this was like close to 20 years ago.
Okay.
Up in North Carolina.
Where were you? North Cackalack.
Mm-hmm. I think it was.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
My parents used to drag me all over. I was the de facto only child. I've already told you this, but my brother and sister are 13 and 11 years older than me, so don't really remember them even living in the same house as me. So in my, preteen and late adolescent years or early adolescent years, my mom and dad just love to go to nature places, which I would love to do now at this age. But when you're 8 to 12 and you're a boy and, G.I. Joe's on TV and stuff, the last thing you want to do is be out on a hike somewhere.
Yes.
And so to bribe me, they would say, well, we're going to go to Big Bend National Park in Texas, but we'll ride horses one day. So I rode a lot of horses. I loved it. It was fun. Like one thing scared the crap out of me. One of the last times I ever rode, we're all on horses. We come to this creek or just a little creek, that they could just walk through, and the water wasn't but up to like their ankles. So the horses in front of me just walk through the creek. We get almost to the edge of the creek, about to walk through, and my horse just leaps across the freaking creek without any warning. Yeah, and I'm like,
You're
11
8,
years old.
9, 11 years
Well,
old.
somewhere around there. And I was just like, holy, because I mean, you got to be holding on to these things, And he, like, the freaking people that, the cowboys or cowgirls or whatever, they didn't give me a heads up that this might happen.
They could get
So, like, if
spooked
I
at
had
any
kind of
time.
been if I had been kind of nonchalant or not holding the reins really well, and just looking off into the woods or whatever, I could have easily fallen off. I mean, he jumped over this. I mean, it seemed bigger at the time, but it felt like, a 6-foot wide creek. It was crazy.
Jim, then
But I loved riding horses.
we may never have been friends, and you certainly wouldn't have been around to win the Kentucky Derby.
If I had fallen off that horse and, split my head open, for sure.
I always liked hanging out with my dad. Usually the stuff that my dad wanted to do was, like, we would go to the SEC basketball tournament sometimes.
Uh-huh.
It was a lot of ball games. It was not, we didn't go hunting and fishing. My dad's not an outdoorsman. He's not mechanically inclined. So any of that stuff, for the most part, I mean, we did some, you can't really call it camping, but we've been to state parks and, yeah.
I don't see Bad Bob being a big, he's obviously extremely smart when it comes to just about everything. But, yeah, I don't see him getting under the hood and replacing a carburetor or something like that. My dad either. My dad would happily pay somebody to do that.
Like, we would do these Chattahoochee River trips with my Uncle
Mike.
Oh,
yeah.
So sometimes, like, somebody else would be involved and we would do that. Or we did go hiking and camping, but it was through it was kind of through Cub Scouts, but it was also, no, it was just a neighborhood friend and then his dad. And so, like, if my dad would pair up with somebody, then we would do something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know he did go whitewater rafting with Robert when Robert was, like, already in his 20s. That was something fun that they did.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I can't wait to do that with Ever. Your brother just went with his family. It looked like a blast.
Mm-hmm. But
Can you bet on whitewater rafting?
Can you bet on it?
Yeah. I'm just kidding.
You might have a problem.
People are going to think I have a problem. Yeah, people are going to come away with this from this podcast reporting me to Gamblers Anonymous or whatever.
Well, I will say that in the landscape of sports betting, I've pretty much confined all of my action, and now it's not really much of it at all, to thoroughbred racing. I don't mean to plug Twin Spires, but it makes it pretty easy. If you're not just unloading your paycheck or all of your discretionary income, horse racing, it's interesting. There's a lot of different types of bets. The win, play, show, the trifecta, the exacta box, the straight trifecta.
Mm-hmm. And hey, shout out to Kim that used to work with us at Mellow Mushroom. She's the one that kind of showed me the ropes. I don't know if she's a listener, but she should be. But shout out to her. She showed me the ropes with horse racing betting way back at Mellow Mushroom. I think she used to always go to the, you can go bet at the race course here in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Or so I've heard on the Kentucky Derby, and I've gotten her to put bets down for me when she would go every year. So hopefully she bet Golden Tempo yesterday. I need to let her know about my win. I forgot.
You need to brag about that.
I'm going to.
Jim, you need to just get into the next few races and just start throwing $50, $100 on a straight superfecta.
I may do it. I'll see. I'm excited about horse. I'm excited about the Belmont. So hopefully we can, double our winnings or just do it again.
I still want to go to a race. I'd love to go up to Saratoga. Yeah, it's definitely a bucket list item.
Well, let's do it. When we get these kids all grown up and out of our houses, let's do it. We'll do a follow-up podcast about how much money we made at Keeneland.
That's a deal.
All
Yeah,
right.
we got to hang around, Jim, into our 60s and 70s. And like, I'm going to need a partner for all these events and sporting events and stuff that I can finally go to.
Oh yeah.
Which it's not like I can't, that may not happen with my kids as teenagers, but
Oh, dude, I'm there. Well, hey, I got to go pick up. Speaking of kids, I got to go pick mine up. You got any final Dan
all
questions you
right,
want to ask?
here we go. Jim, are you at a point in your life where you have to pull out a pair of readers to look at your phone, or are you just bare eyeballing that thing?
Luckily, I had that LASIK surgery, and it's still going strong. Even though I was told at the time I probably would have to have readers,
Oh,
in the
wow.
near future because even the LASIK deteriorates. But so far, so good. I don't need readers yet, so I have perfect vision still.
Man, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
When you're on the phone with customer service and you've called about something
hmm
that you really got to get this taken care of, and they just run into a wall and they say, sorry, in so many words, I can't help you. Mr. Powell, is there anything else I can help you with today? And are you like me where you're thinking, well, I called about this one massively important thing to me that you're not able to do a damn thing about? No, there's not
Yeah.
anything else you can help me with.
Yeah.
What's your reaction when you get that question? And they're usually pretty nice when they ask it, and you have to imagine they're reading that off of a script, but I don't like it. What's your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I say yeah. Could you come over and change my air filter? My house air filters for me because I got the order last month and I was too lazy to change them. So would you mind doing that? Uh, no, that is obnoxious though when you're trying to get one thing done and they tell you no and then ask if there's something else they can do for you.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times people say yes. Let me speak to your manager. Let's run this up the chain a little bit. But yeah, that's annoying.
Have you ever wanted to, or have you actually ever tasted the do not eat packs? Those little packs that maybe come in a shipment that you've ordered? If you ever wanted to just open that thing up and
The silica gel pack things they put in there, that'll kill you, Dan. No, no.
mm,
Have you thought about doing that? You have. That's why you're asking me. Don't do it, Dan. They're poison.
I thought about it.
There's probably a name for that. There's a name for the feeling people have when they're at a very high altitude about the thought of jumping.
Yeah.
There's a name for that sensation or that thought. So there's probably one for people that think about, hey, why can't I just see what this silica gel pack tastes like? Yeah, don't do that, please.
All right, a couple more questions. Jim, how do you spell relief?
Oh, Rolaids, Rolaids, right?
Mm. Wow, swing and miss on that one.
I thought that was a commercial. Is that not the jingle?
All right, let me try
How
another
do you
one here.
spell Rolaids?
Finish the line here. She used to love me with a love that wouldn't die. Looking at her now, I can't believe I said goodbye. It would only take a minute to
It
turn back
only
that old
take a
clock.
minute to turn back that old clock. She used to love me a lot. Oh, R.I.P. David Allen Coe.
I remember when you sang us out on the very first episode.
That's
Uh,
right.
David Allen Coe, very, very troubled man, very controversial guy.
Yeah, not the most. Yeah.
What a set of pipes in the heyday, and a lot of songs here that, my God, Chris Stapleton, one of the biggest stars in modern country music, records a cover of Tennessee Whiskey.
hmm
Not a whole lot to like, I think, personally, with this guy that I've read about with his role as a father and just kind of the way that he went about his business. But, I'd be lying if I said some of these songs, the humorous quality to them. Jack Daniels, If You Please.
Mm.
But some other songs I
Yeah.
prefer not to listen to.
Yeah.
I mean, you never even called me by my name. How many times when we were 20-something years old, you hear that in a bar karaoke?
Well, I mean, in the South, I would say, I mean, that is without a doubt the number one karaoke song in a bar in the South. And I mean, maybe in the United States, I mean, it's just the best sing along karaoke song ever written. That and the Neil Diamond, but You Never Even Call Me by My Name is a classic. And yeah, David Allan Coe, come into this with a lot of people. The Michael Jackson, whose autobiographical movie right now is number one in the country and has been a huge hit. How do you separate the art from the artist? And David Allan Coe had some really crappy things and shitty songs that he wrote and performed. I think he atoned for a lot of that, or knew the mistakes he made as he got later in life. But
You actually cut out there.
Oh man, where did you lose me?
Right before Jody's Like a Melody.
Oh, I was just saying, Jody Like a Melody is one of my favorite songs of all time. And that whole greatest hits album that we all had, 20 years ago, I was looking for that after he passed this week, and that album is not on Spotify for some reason, which is a real bummer because I just love that collection of songs so much more, and they're not all on one CD anywhere or one Spotify album.
I think, again, another controversial figure dies, and people talk about him. They have a hard time talking about him, or like you said with Michael Jackson, it's a reminder. It should be a reminder that not every songwriter, of course, is like this, but people that are in show business, they might be actors and actresses. We tend to think that or athletes. Why did he make that stupid decision? This guy's got $50 million. Why did he get behind the wheel and drive? And when he could just get a driver, or the Tiger Woods stuff. And I just always have to tell myself they're not like us in every regard. You have to be such, again, not everybody, but there's some exhibitionism, if that's the right way to say it. There's a real maybe dissociative personality. There's all kinds of stuff swirling with these characters, and it's part of what makes them. It's part of their appeal to many people, but yeah, they're not regular folks that go, sell the products that we sell, or run down to Dollar General and go get some more deodorant for the wife, or
wash crystals or whatever, beads. Yeah.
But did want to touch on that. And one more question here. I've been trying to pop this one out for a while, but Travis will never come back on for me. I've been trying to ask it to him.
Oh.
Man. Jim, what are your thoughts on Trolley?
What?
Do you like the gummies? Do you like there's a lot of varieties of Trolley.
What is Trolley? I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. What is Trolley?
The candies, the little sour packs of candy.
Oh, man, I don't eat. I don't know them.
Good.
Unless it's a milk dud.
I like chocolate. I really do like chocolate, but I look at some of those sour candies, and my kids are onto Airheads and things like that now. And
Airheads. No, Airheads. Yeah. Oh yeah, Warheads, the sour stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think a lot of that stuff is going to hasten your demise if you're of a certain age and you're still popping through those things.
Agreed. A lot of these kids nowadays are having stomach problems because of the Taki obsession and the heat, the overly hot things that people are eating.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jim.
So I'm sorry you've saved that question and I couldn't give you a better answer.
I'll put it back
in. Travis.
Yeah, I'll stick it back into the canon here and reuse it. I unloaded a lot of them in this episode, this bonus one I did last week. I don't know why.
Ooh,
I should have saved
I have to go back and listen to that. Yeah, I need to go back and listen to that.
Some of these questions I've been sitting on for like a couple years. They're not even that important either. I mean, the do not eat packets and.
What do you think about when you're in a grocery store and you come down an aisle and somebody just parks that shopping cart, middle of the aisle, not even off to one side. How unhinged do you become? I just get so angry at those people to have no spatial awareness or thoughts about other people's well-being or their ability to get around them. What are they doing? Parking those carts in the middle of the aisle.
Jim and I
walking down the aisle 3 wide. You got 3 kids. Tell your kids to get in single file when somebody's coming towards you.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to run them over.
There's times where, let's just say, the cart is sitting in the middle of the aisle. The person is shopping. I will move it. I'll nudge it. I'll kind of bump it from an angle so that now it starts scooting at an angle. I get around them because I've found a lot of times people, Jim, and I don't want to say that it was like better 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but people really don't care. They really don't care about being courteous in a lot of places. Mm-hmm. Not everywhere, not everybody, but when I see it and I know it and I know they don't give a shit,
mm-hmm.
When I know they don't give a shit,
you bump it.
I don't. Yeah, I just kind of like. Well, I don't care either. I'm going to get around you.
If they look at you, do you just kind of, look at them with that half smile you're so good at, and just kind of nod like, "Hey, you're in my way," or do you say, "Excuse me," or "Sorry," or "My bad"?
I just keep going. You
just keep going. Push through. No words. But they don't have time to move. You don't have time for words.
There's a balance. You have to strike a balance of you're not being aggressive, but you're being purposeful, and you need to get through. And you just kind of send a message that, all right. And a lot of times they'll say, hey, I'm sorry, but they also weren't expecting you to do that. But they know that you did it because you had to.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of stuff. Here's one thing that I don't want to say it troubles me, Jim, but when you go into Walmart, I don't know if I just feel like a throwback. I just feel like a total, I feel real corny about the way I interact with people or smile at people. But I never see so many just glum to almost angry faces that make eye contact with me in Walmart. And I'm thinking, would it kill you to just give me a half smile, like just a neighborly, like I've come across your path, you've come across mine in this like 2-second part of our lives. Why do you look so mad?
Agreed. You know where I've noticed that doesn't exist? I do agree with that in shopping malls and grocery stores.
Yeah.
When I walk my dog, I walk her on a daily basis. The amount of people who give me a little finger wave while they're holding the steering wheel and they're passing me is insane. I had no idea that people were still so friendly. Maybe it's because they're behind the wheel. They're kind of saying, "Hey, I see you walking your dog. Good for you."
Yes.
But like it's, 9 out of 10. And I'm not like looking at them like, I'm wearing sunglasses, so they don't know I could, I'm just looking straight ahead for all they know. I'm not looking at them. But they all do the little, 4 fingers, keep the thumb on the wheel and just kind of 4 fingers up, the universal head, hat tip or head nod.
I think they feel obligated.
Okay.
Well,
do you do it, or do you do a full wave?
I start shaking my hand I throw my hand up really high in the air, and I just start shaking it really fast, like I've seen an old friend.
Stick your whole arm out the window.
Hey, Jim. Hey.
Hey, and just wave it really, really like absurdly, like cartoonishly.
Yeah, and then I start blowing kisses and then when I get right up close to him, I'm like, "Have a great day."
Yeah, and they're like, "What? Leave me alone." They're totally freaked out by that point. Yeah, what's that guy?
But yeah, when we just set foot in stores, I know you got to go.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Last question. You can answer it with just a deadpan answer. Do the Cubs make the playoffs? And if they do, how far do they get? We're a few months away.
Yes, the NLCS.
I can respect that. You want to hear my prediction?
You? Yeah.
World Series champions.
Oh, this has been Dan time. Thanks for listening.
I believe it It's the year. It's 2026,
That's right.
Jim. It's the 10-year anniversary.
Hey, and to tie
It's
that into
gonna
David Allen
happen.
Coe, it's going to happen. Did you see in my text that Steve Goodman's the one who wrote? He not only wrote "You Never Even Call Me by My Name," but he also wrote "Go Cubs Go."
Oh, I knew about Go Cubs Go.
I didn't know that.
A good friend of mine named Steve Goodman wrote that song.
That's right.
He called me back. He
told me it
said,
was a perfect.
that's a perfect country and western song. I wrote him back a letter and said, how's it
He
go?
had not. He had not written the perfect country and western song, and didn't say anything about trains or trucks or mamas or getting drunk. But he had another verse of that song. He wrote it back to me, and this is how it goes. Yeah.
Well, I was drunk. All right.
The day my mom got out of prison, and I went to pick her up in the rain. All right, I got to go, Danimal.
Thanks for listening, folks. Hope you enjoyed this episode with Jim, who's now appeared on his, we'll just say it's the 8th episode. I got to count them, Jim, but.
Can you make a greatest hits of just my episodes?
I'm going to make one. I could probably fill up an hour worth of the best stuff.
There you go.
Hope you enjoyed it, folks. You never know when Jim's coming. Have a great day. Thanks, Jim. I carried you about 20 minutes over. That's not too bad.
No, that's great. Thanks for having me, Danimal.
Y'all have a great week. Great to talk to you, Jim. I love you with all my heart and soul.
Same.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Congratulations again.